Hey guys, in this video I am going to use Cisco Packet Tracer to explain and demonstrate how CDP works and the commands related to CDP. CDP commands are one of the most frequently used commands by network engineers. If you are preparing for CCNA, you can expect at least 2 to 3 questions from CDP. CDP is a layer 2 protocol. That means it operates in the data link layer. CDP is a Cisco proprietary protocol. That means it can operate in a Cisco environment only. So that means it can recognize another Cisco device, not from another vendor. CDP operates by sending advertisements out of its CDP enabled interfaces every 60 seconds. So let me show you how to look at that information. Show CDP and you will see all these values. Sending CDP packets every 60 seconds, sending a hold time value of 180 seconds. So if a neighbor is not responding for a CDP advertisement more than 180 seconds, that neighbor will be removed from its CDP neighbor table. So the hold time value must be higher than the advertisement time interval, that is 60 seconds. So it is already 3 times higher than the advertisement time interval. And CDP is enabled by default globally. So how to verify CDP is enabled or not? So when you issue a command show CDP, if you see all these values, that means CDP is enabled on that switch. So how to disable a CDP? That means we can find out how to enable it again. So go to conft no CDP run. That means you are going to disable CDP. Show CDP, and it says CDP is not enabled. So let me re-enable. So you have to remove no. That means CDP run. So you see here I am issuing this command globally in the global config mode, or CDP run. Okay, now I have enabled CDP again. So CDP, it's back on. So as I said before, you can use this CDP command to figure out the network topology and get some detail about your neighboring devices. So let me show you how to do that. So I'm going to go to this switch, the radial switch here, and going to issue a command show CDP neighbors. So you don't have to remember all these commands, just you have to remember show CDP, and then you can figure out what are the options you have. So I'm going to issue neighbors. You have to understand how to read this output. So when you issue this command, you will see device ID, local interface, and the hold time, and then capability, platform, and the remote device port number. So if you can see, this radial switch is connected to 3 of the access switches and also connected to one of the core. So this is 3650 and these are 3560. So let's look at the output. It says the core, it's connected to a core that is 3650 platform. All others are 3560s. And you see here, this is the local interface. So that means on the radial. So it is connected to the core using 111. If you look at here, you can find out 111 is connected to the core, and you can see the other ones respectively. So you know on what interface what neighbor is connected. And let's understand this hold time value. So the maximum hold time it will keep is 180 seconds, and every 60 seconds it will send advertisements. So 180 minus 60, 120. So when it comes to at the time of 120 second of hold time, another advertisements will be sent and the acknowledgement will be received. So the hold time will increase to greater than 120 again. So you cannot see this hold time drop below 120 at any point of time. So let's look at here. And you see here it's 172, all of them, and this is the least one, and you are not going to see less than 120. And you see 160, and then it will come down. And we will look at this when we do the other one. You are not going to see anything below 120. And then as I explained before, this is the local interface and this is the remote interface. So we know the core is connected to 111 and the remote is 111 also on the other side of the switch. And here it is connected to, you see here, 01. On all of them it's going to be 01. So you can see what interface it is connecting on the other side of the network. So let's use another command. So I want to know, say, what is the IP address of this core router. So you can use show CDP neighbor and then issue a command that is detail. And in the detail, you should be able to see the IP address of the other side of the device. So I want to see what is the IP of the core router. So that is going to be, here it is. So this is the router. So the IP address of this router is this one. So you can find out what is the IP and then you can SSH to the other device. So it is a very useful command. And also, as I said before, source CDP neighbors, and you can figure out the topology from this one. So it's, this is an upstream device, that's a core, and these are downstream switches. So these are access switches, this is going to the router. So yeah, you can figure out the topology from CDP neighbor, but you have to do it on each device. So let me issue the same command here in the core router, enable show CDP neighbor, and it will be connected to two other radii. That is, you can see local interface and the remote interface. You see the whole time it never dropped below 120. So let's look at what are the other commands we can use with regard to this CDP, and show CDP and look at interface. So CDP interface gig 111, and you can see it is sending the packets every 60 seconds in the whole time. And let's see what other commands we can use. Interface, and you can see all of them. If you just use a blank interface, you can see what's going on all of them. And so let's look at what are the other options you have here. Entry, all, that means asterisk, it's basically giving you the same output we had. Show CDP neighbor details. That's what this, you are getting the same output here. And let's look at what are the other commands. So CDP. So we pretty much use all the options here. Entity, interfaces, neighbor details, and other things. So let me show you one more thing in CDP. So as I said before, CDP is enabled globally. But after you enable CDP globally, what you can do is you can go to a specific interface and say no CDP enable. That means CDP will be disabled on that particular interface only. So let's look at this one. Say you don't want any CDP information sent to this switch. For this switch, what you can do is you go here, and this is the interface that is 112. So I'm going to go to that particular interface, conf t int gig 112 no CDP enable, and write mem. And now I'm going to issue a command show CDP neighbor, and you see the difference here. You see here switch 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 and core, and here let me see, I already disabled switch 1, but it's still showing me. Okay, so what's going to happen is it has the hold time, so it's going to drop below 120 and go to 0, and then this will disappear. So let's find out what's happening. If you see here, the value dropped below 120, and it's going to keep dropping. 102, 99. Let's wait a couple of more seconds. Okay, now it's 84. So let me pause this video a few seconds. So let me look at the neighbors again. So it will be removed in 21 seconds. Okay, let's see. Okay, if you see here, now that is gone. So one more command I am not able to use in this packet tracer that I know I am able to use in a real Cisco switch is this command. Show CDP neighbors gig 113, and it's unrecognized command here. So you cannot use show CDP neighbor and then you cannot put the interface here to look at your CDP neighbor in this interface. But in a real switch you can use, so that means you can just go to one interface and find out who is the neighbor, neighboring switch connected to that interface. Here is how it looks like in a real switch. Say I use a command show CDP neighbors gig 214, and you see the output. It is showing me it's connected to discovery core switch to so the local interface is this one and the remote interface is gig 114. Hope you have learned something from the video. If so, don't forget to subscribe, like, share and comment on the video, and I will see you in another video. Thanks. Bye.